Good evening, Sons of Kemet.
Hi.
Yeah.
Hello. Good evening.
How are we doing tonight?
Good.
Well.
Strong.
Do we feel lucky?
Not lucky. No, it's just well deserved. We give thanks and we're happy to be here.
So the latest run, and you guys were second favourite in the bookies. Are you guys betting people? Do you have much stock in that?
No, I'm not a betting person. It's good if we win, but if we don't, we just keep doing what we're doing, which is touring a lot and trying to increase our message.
And how have you found the world's reaction to your music? Well, what I'm saying is, how much exposure have you got from being nominated, and have you noticed a change in your audience since then?
Definitely, more gigs are sold out, and we see a difference in social media on the amount of followers we have and the reach of our music, which is great.
And how would you describe your music to people who haven't heard it yet but are going to very, very soon?
I'd say it's improvised music, which has a strong influence from music from the African diaspora.
And have you had many of those irritating comparisons? Because obviously it's a great album and you guys deserve to be here as much as anyone else, but does it fuck you off when people are say that phrase, token jazz band? Does that really annoy you, or do you just put that out of your mind and not think about it?
It irritates us a little bit because what is token jazz? I feel like it's a phrase that people have in their heads without actually listening to the music. The word jazz is problematic enough. There's a quote from Duke Ellington that I remember. He was asked to do he wanted to do a commission for an orchestra within Carnegie Hall, and they said, "You can't do this because you're a jazz musician." And Duke Ellington said, if jazz music, the term jazz music, is going to tell me more about what I can't play than what I can play, then he doesn't want to be a jazz musician. And that's how I feel. It's if the word jazz is a limiting term, we don't want it. If it's a term that means that our music is open to interpretation and includes lots of areas of the African diaspora and in music in general, then that's great. It just depends on the positionality of the term.
That was a really awesome answer. And what are your plans for... firstly, what would you guys do if you won the 25 grand prize money?
If we win that 25 grand, we're going on a world trip to meet other like-minded musicians and play for working class people. So the first stop I think will be the Shrine in Lagos, then into the townships in Johannesburg. There's areas in Brazil that we want to do. When we go on tour, we mainly play in these big festivals to people that have the financial means to hear us play. But what we want to be able to do is to travel the world and play to people who wouldn't normally be able to necessarily afford to go to a big festival, meet musicians and be able to be outside of the restrictions of, in some ways, the industry.
Another good answer. Most people are just yeah, I'll buy my caravan or something, but hey.
That'll come from publishing.
And what are your plans for next year? You've been thinking about a new record, or are you going to be on the road?
We're getting in the studio in December and starting to record a new album. But in 2 days' time, we go on a 3-week tour, coast to coast in America. So that's the kind of immediate plan. And then, just get ready for a new album and see what.
How could you describe the spirit and energy and the sonics of where you're going to take your sound on your next record?
Well, we're going to see in the American tour. For me, the music is only formed from us playing it. So you can have all the theories that you think the album's going to be, but really and truly I like to, and we all like to leave it to what happens when our vibes combine. I can say, the album's going to sound like this or like that, but then Tom Skinner is a whole other universe of music. Eddie Wakidi Hick is a universe of music. So when all of our universes combine, it's going to create something that neither of us individually can actually envision. So I can't tell you what it's going to sound like.
Sons of Kemet, congratulations, good luck.
Thank you.
Thanks very much.